wonder what the great man is doing. And so I came up behind him, and again he was oblivious. And I could see instantly that he was stuck. And so I told him, I said, Bill, if you put the black jack by the red queen, you'll uncover that card. Students have learned many, many things in his classes. If by the time they were halfway through 7th grade they couldn't get Fitz crazed, well, they just hadn't been paying attention. One phrase I heard over and over coming from his room was, Fitz, it wasn't me. But no matter, because his students soon learned to respect him not just for his intelligence and his knowledge, which are truly awe-inspiring, but for his genuine concern for them as young scholars, which is also truly inspiring. A man who has lived his life by the aphorism that good enough is the enemy of excellence. Fitz pushed, prodded, cajoled, coaxed, and occasionally shouted encouragement as his students to stretch themselves, to reach beyond what they thought were the limits of their ability, to strive for what was outstanding. And if you would try, he would be there to help. I'm reminded of the time when President John Kennedy assembled a group of Nobel laureates and world-class musicians and artists and writers and other accomplished people in the East Room of the White House for a formal dinner, and then said to them, there has not been such a gathering of talent and intelligence in this room since Thomas Jefferson dined alone. Sitting and talking with Fitz is, I imagine, what it might be like to chat with old TJ. He is broadly and deeply informed in science and politics and the arts, and especially passionate about education. Indeed, a conversation with Fitz is an education. Sorry. William Fitz-Gibbon, professional educator, to express our appreciation and gratitude for your 32 years of dedicated service as a professional teacher. And as one of the founders of the Individualized Honors Program at Walter Reed Middle School, we thank you for your commitment to the students, staff, parents, and community of the Los Angeles Unified School District and Walter Reed Middle School. Congratulations on your retirement. Best wishes for happiness and fulfillment in your golden years of retirement.
Well, I thought a couple people probably felt it was time for me to leave, but I didn't think there'd be so much joy that I'm leaving. Well, you can see why IHP has been a success by having heard from teachers and administrators here. How could any program fail that has teachers like Paul and Bruce and Pat and administrators like Larry and Sally? It's been wonderful, and there's been nothing but support from other teachers and from other faculty and administrators here at school in all the 32 years of IHP, and I'm very grateful for that. I'd like to thank the parents that put on this and organized this event. It's very impressive. It's a lot of work. I have only a few of the names here, and I'm sure I'm going to miss out a few, but Barbara Javits and Annie Canalian and Robin Weiss and Jill O'Connell, Mary Smith and Lona Weiss, and Debbie Levine, who was in our quartet here. Thank you very much. It's a marvelous thing. We started an experiment 32 years ago, and now we should find out whether it worked or not. We have quite a few graduates, and before I go any further, I do want to make contact with all our former students there was a sign-up list that was going around asking you to give your email addresses. We're going to set up a website that will keep track of all our former students. You can keep contact that as you change through graduation and jobs and such, and where to locate your other classmates. So if you don't get that sign-up list, if you just contact me at my email address, I will then contact you when we have the website going and ask you to put the information in it. So if you got a pencil or something, you might get this down right now. It's easy to remember. It's Fitz-Gi, the first part of my name, no hyphen. And then at adelphia.net. And you can reach me, and just to give me your email address, then we'll get back to you. And it will probably be something you can locate through the IHP, Walter Reed IHP, if you search through it for it. And maybe a week or so before we get the website going. Anyway, what I discovered back then was that from some studies that 90% of the material that was presented in a year to students, gifted kids already knew before the year started. And in particular, junior high was pretty much a waste of time for them. It was going over things they had learned in elementary school and introducing them to things they were going to do in high school. And from my own experience, when I went through a public high school, just loafed my way through and got up to MIT, and suddenly they expected you to work there, as some of you have found out that have gone on to MIT. And many to Harvard, same thing. Why wait? Why not start with our brightest kids and get them thinking early? And so the idea was to put an accelerator program in at IHP to make good use of those junior high years and to teach students how to think. And what I came up with, the best way of teaching people to think was physics. It was the most basic of the sciences, and it took several levels of thinking and a great deal of problem solving. So I thought if we started them early enough with this, everything after that would be easy. Did that turn out to be true? And so I made them struggle through physics and made them think, made them work hard, and I was pleased with results. Originally, when I started the program, I decided just to teach high school chemistry and physics. But I had one student came along that just was too eager and wanted to do more, so I started him off in, I said, well, I'll put him into AP chemistry. And even though I didn't know too much about how to prepare someone for AP chemistry that time, I put him in and he got a 4 on it. The next year, 3 students said, well, we can do the same thing. We want to do it. And so 3, 8, 12, 20, soon it grew to 20 students, all willing to take the challenge and go through and do it. Then, as mentioned, we had to do away with the 9th grade. Well, previously I included a few 8th graders in AP courses, and said, well, I think I can do a whole class of AP 8th graders. And they responded, and they did it. And we've had years where we've had up to 20 4s and 5s in AP. And typically we get 5 4s and 5 5s or something like that in a year. So it's been very pleasing and very successful in that regard. The philosophy of our program wasn't to just make physicists, make mathematicians, or historians, or whatever. It was to make well-educated people. We all reflect, as Bruce reflected upon the state of our leadership, that we could use some more wisdom. It is sad when you look at the Congress of the United States and find there's only 2 or 3 people that know even the slightest bit about science, and yet they're guiding our country. Well, part of the problem comes because we require people to make selections in college. Well, you're going into the humanities? Okay, well, you can't bother with the sciences. You're going to the sciences? Well, you can't bother with the humanities. And yet, a wise person, a well-educated person, has to reach across all these borders. And the only way we felt it could be done is by accelerating the program and having students get a good head start so when they get to college. I always wished I could take my 4 years at MIT over again. Instead of learning things for the first time, I would have liked to have made advantage of the brilliant professors they had there by just picking out the top professors and learning what they had to teach me. But instead, I was just getting down the basics. And it was reflecting after that that I really felt I could have had a better education. And I hope we've been able to do that with our students. And as I say, I'm so pleased with the colleagues I've been fortunate to work with, but also with the marvelous students. I could not have had a better group of people to have met in my life than the students that have passed through my class. Because they're not only highly gifted, but they are amongst the finest citizens, the warmest human beings. I could never get depressed at the work that was required for doing that. When I would walk into school and some student would shout out, "Hi, Fitz," and have a big smile, and it would just warm me up every time. And as I say, I've never one much to express emotions, and I felt a teacher had to hold back a bit on this. But somehow or other, the students caught on that I really did care for them. Even if I shouted at them, it was because I was trying to get them to pay attention and learn a little more. I worried most when I felt I was not teaching as much as I could to a student. So it's with a great joy that I see you all here, and it makes my life feel worthwhile. Thank you.